Wood Brothers has finally made a decision for 2021 and 2022. Clint Bowyer looks like he will not be returning to NASCAR in 2021 as he will head to the Fox booth. And it looks like the NASCAR Hall of Fame will not be having the class in 2021 as they will be postponing to 2022. We got a lot of NASCAR news to get into today. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. To start off, we're going to be talking about Martinsville, as Martinsville will allow a limited number of fans for its races. Now, here's something very interesting to note. There will be no new tickets being sold for the Martinsville weekend. Martinsville was the last track to know if we were going to have fans or not. As we know, the Texas is going to have a limited number of fans. We know that the Roval this weekend will have a small amount of fans, like I think 8,000 fans for Charlotte. Phoenix will have 20% capacity for their races, and now we know Martinsville will have fans. And Kansas will also have a limited number of fans, but no tickets are being sold for that weekend as well. I'm glad that Martinsville is going to have fans. It sucks that no one can get tickets for the race, but I am glad that Virginia and Martinsville are finally allowing fans to be in the stands. And now we get into one of the first major NASCAR stories of this episode. The 2021 NASCAR Hall of Fame ceremony for the 2021 class will occur in early 2022, so it's being delayed till 2022. Now, it is also still yet determined if there will be a voting next year and a 2022 NASCAR Hall of Fame induction class. A lot of the reasons for this is because of the safety of the drivers and the fans and people who are responsible for this event. It kind of makes sense. I do expect COVID to probably still be around early in January. I don't think it's going to completely go away after the election, like some people are saying it's going to go away. But I think that this is a good decision. But really intrigues me and really scares me is the fact there might not even be a Hall of Fame class for 2022 since they're going to be delaying this. Maybe they'll have two ceremonies at once. I really don't know. I think NASCAR will have a class for 2022. I don't expect that to change. But the fact that there is a chance that also could happen is really, really scary. And I really hope that does not become the case, basically. I hope that really does not become the case because I think the NASCAR Hall of Fame is a great thing. It's one of the best things about NASCAR, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, because you get to see some of the legends of the sport get inducted in NASCAR, but not just drivers, but, crew chiefs and spotters and all the people who are involved in the sport and, like, broadcasters. A lot of people that are involved in the sport get to finally have an opportunity to go into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. But I understand the decisions that NASCAR is making right there. And now we get into a silly season story, news story basically, as Matt DiBenedetto has re-signed with Wood Brothers for the 2021 season. It has been unknown if Matt DiBenedetto would be returning to Wood Brothers for the 2021 season as he was a free agent. Now, they did pick up his option for the 2021 season, but there is a little bit of a catch. Austin Cindric has signed a multi-year extension with Team Penske, and he will do select Cup races for the 2021 Cup schedule for Team Penske. Probably in a 02, the 77, or the 06. Those are I'm expecting the possible numbers that we're going to see for him. But he will be driving the 21 Wood Brothers car starting in 2022. Now, the race I think Austin Cindric is going to do, I would not rule out a possibility of Penske trying to qualify for the Daytona 500. And I think that Austin Cindric will run the select Cup races. I think he's going to run probably all the road courses. I'm not sure if he'll probably run all the road courses, to be honest. And I think, not only that, I think he's going to give Chase Elliott a huge run for his money when we do go to tracks like Road America, because he has won at Road America. Tracks like Watkins Glen, where he actually has won. Tracks like the Sonoma, I think he could have a shot to win those races as well. I think his goal is just to complete laps and get experience in the Cup Series, but I think he will be a contender as well. As for Matt DiBenedetto, I'm really, really glad that Wood Brothers picked up his option because if he did not return, it was going to be really sad. It also is interesting, though, is that if he was not signed with Wood Brothers for this year, a lot of teams were looking at possibly signing maybe like the 43 team or maybe another organization that has not signed their drivers for the 2021 season. There's a lot of teams that are still unknown what's going on for their seasons. But I'm really, really glad that Matt DiBenedetto is returning. Yes, he hasn't done as good as I thought he was going to do, but I think the COVID pandemic, he has not been able to work with Greg Irwin as much and kind of get experience in this car because he's had a few good runs. He had a really good run at Las Vegas recently. And before he forced a guy below the yellow line, basically, which he got a penalty, I think, fair and square right there. He was running and contending for the lead, and he's a really good super speedway racer. And I think that Matt DiBenedetto has a really good shot of running well at Vegas. He's really fast at Vegas and has been really strong there over the last couple of years. He's definitely going to be good on the road courses. I know the road course at Daytona was not very good, but I think he can improve there. He's going to have good runs in road course. I think the Wood Brothers cars are going to be really strong at those kind of racetracks. I also think that Matt DiBenedetto will really good at a track like Michigan, and I think he'll also be really good at Daytona and Talladega since the Penske cars are usually really fast at the super speedways. So you get basically 2-1. You're going to get Matt DiBenedetto for 1 year, but you're also going to get Austin Cindric for select cup races, and you're going to get him in 2022. This is a win-win, not a win-win situation if you're a Matt DiBenedetto fan, because you get him for 2021, but at what cost? You lose him after the 2021 season. So, and also Matt DiBenedetto probably will have some time to be looking to go to other teams because there's going to be a lot of rides that are possibly going to be available. Maybe he goes to the 2-car. That 2-car will be a free agent after the 2021 season, with Brad Keselowski becoming a free agent at the end of that season. But I wouldn't be shocked if Keselowski signs an extension. I really don't. I think he really signed an extension, just a 1-year extension, basically, to make sure that that team kept going, because him and Jerry Bones have really been growing together. Brad has been an underdog for this championship, and I think he has a really good shot at winning the championship. So that was a big story on Matt DiBenedetto and Austin Cindric. And now we get into another big story that kind of surprising more than anything. We're talking about football news. We're talking about the Super Bowl. If the NFL has to add a Week 18 to its regular season because of COVID rescheduling, the Super Bowl could get pushed back from February 7th to February 14th, the day of the Daytona 500, per Ben Fisher at Sportsman's Journal. There's also a possibility the NFL could just kill the Pro Bowl by week to keep the Super Bowl on the 7th. This is not good for NASCAR if they have to put this on the Super Bowl, have to push that back to the 14th weekend. I really don't think this is a good move. I just think in general they need to kill the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl has not been great. You don't get to see all the best of players because all the people who are in a Super Bowl, they're not going to try to go in this event. I don't understand why there's possibly that they're going to push this back. It really doesn't make any sense. I understand because you have a lot of players that have been getting infected recently and a lot of games that have had to be getting rescheduled. And you're having some of these games that are going to have to be made up really, really soon. But I just don't like this possibility because, and watch the NFL do this. Watch it, they're going to do this because they're going to probably screw NASCAR. They're going to screw the fans. But if this is to happen, NASCAR needs to start this race at noon. They have to start this race at noon. They need to start earlier. I don't care about the West Coast fans. We've seen ratings for Indy 500 trying to chase those West Coast viewers. It doesn't work because fans are used to 11 o'clock. You need to start the race at noon. No excuses, especially with the Super Bowl being as big as it is. If you run this race during the Super Bowl, it will kill the ratings. And with this being the racing Super Bowl, you need to have this race before, way before, 12 p.m. You have to start that race at 12. You got to start it then. And now we get into the final story of this episode. Clint Bowyer is going to be retiring after the 2020 season. He's retiring from full-time racing, and he is headed to the Fox Sports booth for the 2021 season. He is now returning to that team in 2021. He wrote a pretty cool statement that I'm going to have on the screen for you guys to read as well, large enough for you basically to read. So, Clint Bowyer is headed to the booth. First of all, we're going to talk about silly season a little bit because who's going to be taking the 14 car? I am expecting that 14 car is going to be driven by Chase Briscoe. First candidate, first serve. I think he's going to be driving the 14 car. I thought it would be Kyle Larson at the beginning of the off season, well, beginning of silly season basically. But that really has changed because I think, like I said, I think Chase Briscoe is going to be taking the 14 cars. Kyle Larson's expected to probably go to Hendrick Motorsports next year. Let's talk about Clint Bowyer, though. Clint Bowyer has had a decent career. I think he's got 10 victories in his Cup Series career. So he's had a pretty decent career overall as a driver. But over the last couple of years, he's kind of performed mediocrely. He's barely gotten 1-year contract extensions. And it doesn't really surprise me. I said at the beginning of the 2020 season that Clint Bowyer is probably not going to be returning in 2021, and he's probably going to go up to the Fox Sports booth due to having a lot of races in the booth. And not only that, the chemistry between him and Jeff Gordon in the booth during the Pro Invitational Series when NASCAR was in their break because of COVID, he did an extremely well job, and chemistry between those two was really, really good. So this is a really, really good move for Fox Sports to bring him up. I think that this will be a facelift for Fox Sports. I think it's a really good decision by Clint Bowyer to go up to the booth and give a facelift to Fox. No offense to guys like Mike Joy or Jeff Gordon. I think Mike Joy, I have no problem. I think he's done a pretty good job. He really carries the coverage, basically. Jeff Gordon's kind of stale, and if you put Clint Bowyer and Jeff Gordon together, I think that you're going to get a really good broadcast for both those guys. But, man, Clint Bowyer had a pretty solid career, and I think that he will do great things up in the Fox Sports booth, as he will do some great things there. Now the big question is, what's going to happen to the 98 car in the Xfinity Series? There are a few drivers that I'm thinking of that could end up possibly be in that car. So the first one is Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is possibly being rumored right now to sign a contract extension. This has been reported by NASCAR Rumor Mill. Again, it's just a rumor mill, so take it if you will. But he has been rumored to be re-signing with JTG possibly as early as tomorrow. That is a good possibility. But I think if he doesn't re-sign with them, he could end up being a driver of the 98 car. He really needs to rebuild his career. He hasn't done great with JTD Doherty. He hasn't done terrible, but I expected a lot more from a guy like Ryan Preece, and I think that he really needed to step it up to the plate. Another driver is Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie is not returning to Go Fast Racing next year. And think about this. Go Fast Racing is affiliated with SHR, and that Xfinity Series program is really, really strong. Corey LaJoie definitely has talent. He's been performing pretty well in the Go Fast Racing cars. They got a little bit of an upgrade this year, and the performance has definitely really shown and spoke for them up to this point. So as for a guy like Corey LaJoie, I think it'd be really cool to see him go back to SHR. I think if he could do really well with this car, I think he would have a really good opportunity of performing very, very well. The other driver that I heard, and this is again from the NASCAR rumor mill, so take this if you will, I've heard a rumor that possibly Riley Herbst could be the driver. Yeah, not a good decision if SHR goes to him because he hasn't done terrible at Joe Gibbs Racing, but he really hasn't performed great. His teammates have went to victory lane. You know, Harrison Burton has 2 victories and Brandon Johnson scored 3 victories, technically 3 or 4 victories in his career up to this point, but 3 victories in 2020. I just don't think Riley Herbst would be a good fit. I think he would struggle, but if they're looking for someone with sponsorship, you could go with a guy like Riley Herbst, but I don't think that would be a good decision. But once again, I just want to say, Clint, thank you for all you've done for the sport. You've done a lot of great things for the sport. You're one of the best personalities in NASCAR, and I really wish you the best luck as you go up to the Fox Sports booth for the 2021 season. So, anyway, that is going to be all the NASCAR news I have for you guys today. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Link description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. How well do you think Clint Bowyer is going to do in the Fox Sports booth? Do you think he's going to do really well? Or do you think that he is going to struggle in the Fox Sports booth? Let me know in the comments below. And how do you feel about Matt DiBenedetto going to return to Wood Brothers in 2020, but also Austin Cindric going to Wood Brothers in 2022? Let me know in the comments below about that. Make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you continue to support the content because I got a lot of cool things coming out really soon. I do expect to have another video later today as there will be a lot more news that is coming out very, very soon. I do expect some more silly season stuff to be on the way really, really soon. So if you see silly season news, come to this place because there's a lot of great content on the way. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.